and friends.
Why don't we choose this song? Here we go again.
Here we go.
I mean, yesterday was anything but as predictable as we thought. We thought, wow, it's going to be exciting. The president goes to Capitol Hill. He's going to talk taxes. And then a little thing happened in between. Boom.
Just like that.
Lots to talk about this morning.
Remember we told you months ago about that, as Ainsley put it, the dirty dossier, where...
The dirty dossier.
The dossier that had a whole bunch of stuff in it that, you know, people looked at it. Could that possibly be true about Donald Trump? Well, now we know. We don't know if the stuff in the dossier is true, although reporters have been trying to verify some of it for months. But we do now know who funded the dossier. That dossier was actually funded by Hillary Clinton and the DNC. How crazy is that?
Yeah, this guy, Mark Elias, is representing the Clinton campaign. He combined with the DNC to write a pretty big check. All in all, the Clinton campaign paid the Fusion GPS, which is represented by Perkins Cole, $5.6 million in legal fees. And the DNC paid $3.6 million. That to the GPS hired this guy named Christopher Steele to go dig some stuff up. Meantime, I think it's most disturbing. This guy, Mark Elias, lied the whole time. Says he didn't do it. Told the New York Times he didn't do it. He did it.
He was an attorney, and they funded this Fusion GPS all the way until the election. Just a few days before the election, they stopped paying them.
And then the FBI was going to continue paying, but then when Christopher Steele's name leaked out, they said, we're not going to do it. Now think about this. President Trump wins the election. The FBI goes, I'm going to keep writing checks to this opposition research firm.
Well, here's the thing. As we know from the book Shattered, we know on the night of her election loss, Hillary Clinton and John Podesta and company, they decided, you know what? Let's blame Russia. Now we know that they were actually funding the Russian dossier.
That's what the story is this morning. Many of you might say, who cares what Hillary Clinton did? She's over and done with. She's gone. I hear a lot of Democrats even saying that. But what's important here is that she's going after the president for this collusion and has been forever. Turns out she's the one that colluded, according to this source.
All right. And the Washington Post runs with this story, not normally anti-Clinton, but a couple of things. So if you look into the Russian probe and what was going on there, it essentially was teed up by the Clinton campaign, but they did take it over from a Republican source, maybe related to one candidate in particular. So they didn't start with Christopher Steele and GPS; they picked up.
And yeah, we had on our air a couple of days ago. One of our guests said that it looked like it all started with a fundraiser for Jeb Bush. Well, eventually Jeb Bush dropped out, and they still had all this stuff. So what do? Next thing you know, they sell it essentially to the DNC. What's interesting, though, is it does sound as it wouldn't be shocking if the campaign, her campaign, then gave this to the FBI and others. And how crazy would this be? If this dossier, which was paid for by Hillary Clinton's campaign and the DNC, if this was the rationale behind unmasking all those names. Remember, they started in the final days of the Obama administration.
That's a whole other can of worms.
All based on this, which was paid for by Hillary Clinton.
And by the way, Maggie Haberman with the New York Times says this. Folks involved in the funding lied about it and with sanctimony for a year. So I guess the New York Times claims they were working on it. They kept getting denials from Elias and the Clinton campaign. And it turns out it's true. Brian Fallon, the spokesperson, came out and said essentially, if I knew about this, I would have used all this willingly, but we didn't know about it. But he's just a spokesperson.
More on Hillary Clinton. House Oversight Committee launching 2 new probes on her. Another Fox News alert. New calls from Congress this morning for special counsel to look into the controversial Uranium One deal and its ties to the Clinton Foundation donations.
Look at laughing. This from explosive reports from the Russian bribery before the deal was approved.
Oh man, this is another story about Russia, and Greg Jenkins joins us right now from our nation's capital with the latest. Greg.
Good morning. That's right, guys. House Republicans and 2 committees launching probes into that controversial Obama-era uranium deal that gave Russia control over more than 20% of America's uranium reserves and possible ties to then-Secretary Hillary Clinton. At the center of it, whether an ongoing Department of Justice investigation at the time, in 2010, uncovered information that would have prevented the deal possibly violating national security. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes says there are a lot of questions.
One of the things, as you know, that we're concerned about is whether or not there was an FBI investigation. Was there a DOJ investigation? And if so, why was Congress not informed of this matter?
And this came to light last week, of course, when an FBI confidential informant attempted to come forward publicly through his lawyer, but is prohibited from doing so by a gag order, or that non-disclosure agreement with the Department of Justice. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman, who has called for the informant's testimony, says he hopes that it will be forthcoming. Here's what Grassley had to say.
If it gets worked out so he can testify without any problems for him, we will take him up on that whenever that can be worked out, because he's very key.
Secretary Clinton was on a book tour this week, and she dismissed any notion of it.
I would say it's the same baloney they've been peddling for years, and there's been no credible evidence by anyone. In fact, it's been debunked repeatedly and will continue to be debunked.
So here's the key, guys. Pay attention to whether or not the release of that informant's non-disclosure gets done this week, and what he has to say, which is key to all of this investigation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, Griff, thank you very much. And of course, the undercover informant initially just wanted the money back because he was working for the FBI, but the FBI had him pay out of his own pocket all that dough, and then he said, hey, I'd like my money back since I was helping the government. They just said, no, not going to give it to you.
That wasn't smart.
It happened on Capitol Hill yesterday, and I have to admit, it caught me by surprise. Senator Bob Corker obviously has a problem with the president. He was once a contender to be Secretary of State and Vice President, and he's going after the president personally. I don't know if you've heard about the president, but he doesn't like that. He goes back at you personally, and this back and forth was baited by Senator Corker, who's